Given the controversial and frankly incorrect take from artist Shabuzi during the recent Grammys when he won his first Grammy Award and proclaimed that immigrants built this country,
literally,
I felt it best to give a quick history lesson as to how the civil rights movement helped immigrants come into this country, the United States, in large droves. As a quick refresher, the civil rights movement was a struggle for social justice that took place during the 1950s and 1960s, in which Black Americans were trying to get equal rights under the law in the United States. Despite the Civil War leading to slavery being abolished in the United States, Black people still faced discrimination, leading to them being harmed by European Americans without any justice, such as Emmett Till, and Black people not having equal access to good resources and having to drink from other water fountains, having to use other bathrooms. My parents, my grandparents went through all of that. It wasn't that long ago. I have a direct connection to that era. Anyways, the civil rights movement eventually led to the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which was signed into law during July 2nd of that year. This led to the prohibition of discrimination in public places, provided for the integration of schools and other public facilities, and this act was supposed to make employment discrimination illegal. Obviously, that's not the case as we see today. Why is the Crown Act a thing again? Now, prior to this, non-European immigrants had a hard time getting into the United States due to bigoted ideologies about non-Europeans. There was the Immigration Act of 1917, which effectively banned Asian, Mexican, and Mediterranean people from entering the United States. Then you had the Immigration Act of 1924, known as the Asian Exclusion Act. This greatly restricted immigrants from entering the United States from Southern and Eastern Europe, as well as Africa, and completely banned Arabs, Asians, and Indians from coming to this country. The law's stated purpose was to preserve the idea of American homogeneity. Going back to the Civil Rights Act of 1964, that led to the Voting Rights Act of 1965 passing. That act was meant to stop discriminatory and illegal practices that prevented Black citizens and other citizens, I guess people of color, from voting. Following this, the Immigration and Nationality Act of 1965 passes. Reportedly, Jack Valenti, one of the advisors of then President Lyndon B. Johnson, remarked that the previous immigration law was inconsistent with civil rights and racial justice. The Immigration and Nationality Act dramatically changed the makeup of the United States by ending a quota system based on national origin in favor of one that took into account occupational skills, relatives living in the United States, and political refugee status. According to Pew Research Center, since this act has passed, the amount of immigrants living in the United States has more than quadrupled. Essentially, due to the civil rights movement and Black people, Black Americans, trying to be recognized as equal under the U.S. law, immigration for non-European immigrants, specifically non-Western European immigrants, has been able to skyrocket. And that's because the powers that be felt that discriminatory practices towards other races was wrong. Just wanted to shine a light on this. Hope it helps. Immigrants have contributed to what we now know as the United States. However, they did not lay the foundation or build up the beginning. Please be kinder to Black Americans today.